Did you know in Umamusume I made a Umamusume race for DND and Pathfinder? You didn't? Well, now you do. So, for disclosure purposes, I have played mostly D&D, a little bit of Pathfinder. I am not a dungeon master, game master, to be honest. I don't know if I can pull that up, but whatever. And I did, get some feedback when I did ask other people's opinions about it. And so here we go. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not good, maybe you're like, meh, doing this and that doesn't make sense, or it's overpowered or whatever. So let me know what you think in the comments below after you're done finishing the video about how I did, and if you would use it in your D&D campaigns or a modified version of it. So let's get started. So all Umamusume are female. There are no males. You can only choose female as the gender. They come in small, medium, and large. Like typical humans and such. They are humanoids. The AC is 10, relatively similar. So, for movement speed, because I know that's going to be one of the key factors that people are going to be wondering about, is how fast are they? So, for those of you who don't know, Umamusume are basically based off running horses, like all the characters and such. They're based off of real life running horses. And in Pathfinder and D&D, there really isn't a running horse data sheet, so to say. Like, there's no specific thing for running horses. There's like war horses and riding horses and such, but not for race horses. So I kind of had to like go an in between type of thing, and the Umamusume. So of course I want to make them fast, and with other people's opinions and such, I've decided to give them a movement speed of 40. I think 45 is way too much, because if you dash in D&D, that's like 90 feet, and striding in Pathfinder, it's like triple the movement feet, so that's gonna be way overpowered. So I think 40 is fine. And I know like smaller races like dwarves and such have 25 speed and such, and you may be thinking, why don't the smaller Umamusume have small speed but lesser speed? I guess you could like drop it down to 35 or 30 at the DM's discretion. But if you want to know how small Umamusume are handled in the IP itself, boy, height does not matter that much. You still got small Umamusume running around getting G1 wins, which is like the highest race graded racing event, by the way, and still winning and such. Yeah, no, it really doesn't matter in the IP if that contributes to anything. I mean, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. It's your campaign and such. I'm just letting you know my reasonings for not doing that, that's all. Alright, so the Umamusume based off race horses, and from what I saw on the other types of horses in D&D Pathfinder, they have perception, so they get a free perception skill. And I thought, why not just add animal handling in there, because they are part animal. I don't know if it's a good call to do that or not, or if it matters that much, but there you go. Also, they do have a resistance. They have resistance against spells that reduce movement. So they do have a resistance. Okay, so now since we got that out of all the way, we're gonna go to the feats that the Umamusume have. So you will get 2 feats to start out with, and 1 more feat depending on the ancestry type thing that I'm gonna talk about later. So that's like 3 feats at level 1. I don't know if that's too much or something, or it should wait until like later on when they level up. That's why you can tell me in the comments below if you think, oh, they shouldn't get these many feats so soon. Blah, 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 blah. I did call the stride originally, but I'm just gonna call it gallops of the Umamusume. It is a trait. So, this trait has some text, and that little text is all Umamusume has an act or an urge to run. This has been the case since day 1 of their existence. Oh well, I should probably word differently. Like when they started to run, they always had this innate urge to run. I should have worded that differently. But anyways, let's get to the trait itself. Okay, so you could take the dash action, or the stride if you play in Pathfinder, as a bonus action now. equal to your proficiency level. When you take a long rest, you restart it to 0. If you take a short rest, you regain 1 use of the ability. So what that means is, let's say if you have proficiency of 5 and you use it like 3 times, you take a long rest, it goes to 0. You take a short rest, it reduces it down from 3 to 2, meaning you can use it 3 more times. Now, if you, as a game master judging matter, wants to throw in like, okay, well, if you use it like 3 consecutive times in a row, you get fatigued or whatever, which is something that I did originally have, but some people show it to, like, they're like, nah, don't do that because it's hard to keep track of and such. Just make it into proficiency. Now, the next one, it actually gets better when you level up and such as you go through the levels, but it's called Runner's Assault. So, just after you make the dash action, you can roll a 1d8 bludgeoning attack with your strength or dexterity modifier, and the enemy has to make a con save of 13. If they fail, they get knocked back 5 feet and they cannot make an attack of opportunity. This attack, for all intents and purposes, is unarmed, so there is that, a little something for monks to use, technically speaking. When you get to level 6, you can use a melee weapon, but it's always -2 to your hit. It's always -2, and when you use this, you cannot take the dash or stride action on your next turn. Now, for the unarmed side of things, this is just for the unarmed attack. At level 5, it's 2d8 damage, 10 is 3d8, 15 4d8, and 20 5d8. This is for the unarmed because you can attack with a weapon. If you're attacking with a weapon, then no, you don't get the unarmed stuff. So next we got their ancestry, home training. The law is, the Umamusume during the training develop the bodies and mind, but will choose some parts of themselves over others. This is based off of the mobile games training, where you train stamina, speed, power, guts, and wit. So with the training, I try to base it around what it's about and such, and I made sure that it tries and fits in with D&D and Pathfinder, so it fits just fine and whatnot. So I'm gonna go and talk about speed training. Like when I talk about speed training, you'll get what I mean. Sometimes I just don't know how to explain stuff well. So if you were to take the speed training, you can add +2 to your dexterity or +1 to your dexterity. Then select one dexterity based skill that you're not proficient in and become proficient in it. This is going to be a running thing throughout all the trainings, is that you get to pick and choose which avenue you want to go across. What's more important, +2 to the attribute or get +1 instead and get a new proficiency skill. Also, with all the trainings, you get a feat, and the one for speed is called Adaptive Running. Do not take any modifiers from terrain, and prone costs you 10 speed to get up from if you're in prone. Or for Pathfinder, you pay 10 movement speed instead of taking an action, so basically you're sacrificing some of your movement to get up so you don't have to take an action. You're just sacrificing some of your movement, that's all. Stamina training. Gain +2 to your constitution or +1 to it, and you select one skill that you're not proficient in, that is strength or dexterity based, and you become proficient in it. Your trade is Hardy Umamusume. You gain 1 extra hit dice during character creation and level up. If you do not roll for it, you can take your hit dice, and which is, let's say, 1d8, and then you cut it by half, which is +4. So you +4 for your total of hit points. And if you do roll for it, if your hit dice is like 1d8, then you just add another 1d8 for rolling for health. As you can see, I have like a theme with the training to center around like certain things when it comes to character creation, so you have more like freedom and such to do things, more ideas. Just because you're a bit more tankier with stamina training doesn't mean you have to go for a tanky like build. You could go for practically whatever kind of build that you really want. Just be able to take more punishment, and for the speed one, you have more maneuverability and such. Technically, if there's like hard terrain and such around. Next up is power training. So, +2 to your strength, or +1 to your strength, and then again, like with stamina, if you have a dexterity or strength proficiency skill that you're not proficient in, become proficient in it. The trait is power through weaponry. You get a weapon proficiency regardless of race and class in addition to any weapon proficiency you get. If you don't get any weapon proficiency, still get one. So basically it's go hand with whatever melee weapon you want to have, basically. Freedom of choice. I know this looks like the build for monks and such, and I'm probably using El Condo Pasa's D&D appearance for this one on the video, but actually no, I think it's just a superhero version. Anyways, I did give Runner's Assault, which is technically an unarmed strike, and monks do use weapons, so this is basically for monks getting the free weapon proficiency if you would like, basically. If you think I treated monks badly for this one, leave a comment down below. And since you're doing it, why not like, comment, and subscribe as well. Now we're going to go on to guts training. So add +2 to the charisma, dexterity, or strength attribute. Or do a +1 to one of those attributes instead. Then select a proficiency skill you're not proficient in of one of those three and become proficient in it. And if you wanted to know why I put charisma for guts, it's because, well, you need to be gutsy trying to charm everybody and try to persuade everybody. So that's why I put it in there. And I needed some place to help out charisma, so I thought guts training would be best suited for it. Yeah. So the trait is guts, guts, and more guts. You are immune to being frightened. And once per long rest, if you would get fatigued, you're not instead. That's it. That's the trait. Well, you're so gutsy that you're not really frightened by anything, even though you can have your moments going, or whatever. And you got the guts and the will to press on, even though you feel exhausted. That's my reasoning. Man, I feel like I had to justify that a lot. But the last one is wit training. So as you can imagine, this is the more of the spell casting type one. It's +2 to your intelligence or wisdom stat, or +1, and if you don't have a wisdom or intelligence stat that you're not proficient in, then you can become proficient in one of them. Your trait is Studious Umamusume. So you get 2 things you can select from this. Number 1, you get 1 additional cantrip added to your spellbook, if possible. I don't think there's a limit, so I'm guessing it's always going to be possible. I just put that in there just in case though. Just in case. Or if you don't want that, you can get an advantage on a skill check, but only once per long rest. And that's gonna do it for my homebrew Umamusume D&D race. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you think I did a good job, decent job, or that I did a terrible job and I am a VTuber and I should just leave the community altogether, whatever you want to say. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. 早く